Hey, this is Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys, and I love the Grandstanders! Take it away, kid!
Welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor, Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's the barber to the stars, Hollywood Pete McGilvery. Well, we have another great show for you tonight, so boys, let's get it started. All right, we start with the Boston Red Sox, and we have nothing to complain about.
Except
we
everything.
Still complain,
Yeah.
But let's be honest. There had to be some level of slumping during the course of the season. And what better place to slump than to go to Florida in the summer, right? And play in that disgusting stadium. They end up getting swept. Is it time to press the panic button, boys?
No, I think we have to remember that they've actually lost two of their top four pitchers for a significant amount of time.
Exactly.
Right? So they had to fill in gaps. It affects the entire bullpen. They lost their starting third baseman. Right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, but,
so we've had critical players out of the lineup over the last few weeks, and they finally caught up to them a little bit.
But I would venture to say that Devers,
especially the pitching staff.
Devers is
well,
kind of being sent down to the minors almost.
He's got like
because of
15 home
development.
runs, though. I mean, he was a productive offensive player.
He was, and he would help the lineup. He would definitely lengthen it out.
I think Mookie Betts would be hitting a little better with him in front of him rather than Jackie.
Yeah.
At least the pitchers fear him a little bit.
Well, when you have Nunez, Kinsler, Leone, JBJ, and that's not an incredible offensive
That's
lineup.
double A, isn't it?
Yeah, right, exactly, right? I mean, that's people on rehab, But I would say that if you don't have your number one pitcher in Chris Sale and you're replacing with Brian Johnson and Hector Velasquez, at some point that's going to catch up to you.
Look, what got us off on that streak was the two guys you could count on in the rotation, Porcello and Evaldi, didn't get it done, and then you're left with now you're chasing Brian Johnson, Hector Velasquez after guys who have already lost a couple games in a series, and that's how you lose 4 out of 6 or 6 out of 8.
And the problem is that the Yankees are playing extraordinary and historic also, right? Because if we're in the Central Division, we're up by like 25 games.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really about the Yankees right now. That they're playing so well. Otherwise,
We play him 6 more times,
we wouldn't be worried about this.
It's going to be a tough month. They play Houston too, right?
3 times, and Cleveland
At
3
home,
times.
no. They're all at home, right?
Yeah, but if they beat up on the bad teams and they play enough of them for the remaining schedule, they'll be fine.
Yeah, you just really want to go 500 against those teams, the Houstons, the Yankees, the Cleveland.
Especially the
and then
Yankees.
beat
Go
up on
500
bad
against
teams.
the Yankees season.
Yeah.
So.
And by the way, Tampa is a good team. That team is like 8 games over 500.
They give the Yankees trouble too.
Yeah,
They started terrible.
They've
the first third of the
very
season.
well. They play the division tough. They always have.
Look, if you're going to start taking a little bit of a dive, now's the time.
Totally right, Pete.
And then ramp it up.
That's totally right.
Absolutely. All right, so I talk about almost every week that Mookie Betts should be batting third, and you guys keep on giving me trouble, but clearly, look, he went on a very long batting slump, okay?
Yep.
It's because he's got the JBJs and the Sandy Leones behind him, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they're not throwing him strikes. And he's frustrated. And
Down
next
and
thing you
out,
know,
down and out.
Yeah, now's the time to switch it up. I always said you go with it as long as you go with him in the first spot as long as it's working, and then it's clearly he's clearly hit a skid, so switch it up. Now, how would you
that's my
set up
question.
how would you set up the lineup though? I mean,
Well,
Who do you want leading
Richie
off?
Two Bags is not a third hitter.
no,
in
I know,
a
but
World
who's,
Series
no,
team.
Scott, who bats first? I mean, legitimate question. Who's your leadoff batter?
Benintendi.
Okay, and then who's your second?
Okay, I'll buy that.
All right, well, the second baseman.
Kinsler?
Whoever is playing second base.
Well,
at the time.
here it's gonna.
His
It
boy
says
Brock
the next
or-
item. The next item on our list is Kinsler is still sucking.
No, but he is still sucking, right?
Okay,
He is-
so he's now your second.
no,
hitter.
I'm just saying the second baseman is the fit for
Whether it's Nunez or
Pedroia?
Kinsler.
Oh no, wait, I'm
No, I hate to bring this up, right? But I've
Holt.
noticed. No. It's not a Brock Holt thing. But I'm watching.
you really hate.
I'm
to
watching
bring it up?
balls go in the hole, and Kinsler, Pedroia would have gotten to those. I'm sure of it.
I thought for sure you could say
Oh,
Brock
no,
Holt would have had
I
that.
agree with you too. Kinsler sucked, right? He's
So,
been nothing.
my God,
that
He
was
hasn't
like-
been what was promised.
Can we
no.
get back to the order? No, because I'm willing to
Yeah.
say Mookie should be batting third. I'm totally down.
Okay,
with
so
that.
Benintendi leading off. Are you guys
Second
happy with
baseman.
that?
Yeah,
Right?
is Bogarts hit second?
No.
No, keep him for fifth or
Bogarts
sixth.
is fifth, and then he's
So the
that's
best
it.
we can do as our second hitter is Ian Kinsler.
Right,
As of
exactly.
now. Okay.
Yeah, but
And then
second
Mookie
hitters,
Betts-
usually
then-
you don't put your greatest
and
hitter
then
in second.
Mookie Betts third,
Right.
and JD Betts fourth.
Right.
So we got three righties in a row, which again, I'm not saying, but
Which is
there
fine,
are-
yeah, right.
There are soft spots, and then who bats fifth?
Bogarts fifth?
Bogarts. So four righties in a
Moreland.
row.
and then it doesn't matter
Okay.
anymore.
And then you
Okay.
put Moreland in there or Pierce. What do you care about righties and lefties
I'm
for?
just saying.
Most-
I'm just
most
asking the
hitters are-
question. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just asking you for clarification.
Now's the time.
It only
now's
makes
the
a
time to
difference
shake
righties
things
and
up if
lefties.
they're
So
They're
you
done.
done.
admit
End
that
of
I'm
the game.
right. I've been the only one carrying.
nobody's
on.
doing that.
We didn't do that either.
Mookie Betts has hit 340 from the leadoff spot in an epic year. So you're now saying that you're right that he should have been batting third all along. Is that really what
Absolutely.
you're arguing?
And he'd have over 100 RBIs, and the Red Sox would have
Okay, so
30 more runs scored.
somebody who has over 100 RBIs is not going to have as many RBIs because somebody has to hit first.
Yep.
Yeah, but you don't put your best player.
No, I'm
at leading
no,
off.
I'm sure you're
you
right.
don't do that.
I'm sure
It's
you're right. We'll
Historic
crunch-
in baseball.
Can we agree to crunch the numbers? We'll
Oh,
crunch
no,
the numbers.
Do you want Benintendi, the world's dumbest base runner, on base in front of you? Best guy?
Benintendi is meant to be a leadoff hitter. Absolutely.
He's a
Okay.
pickoff waiting to be happening.
I know, but come on. All right, seriously? All right, Bryce, I'll agree with you in some level that Devers needs to get back on the team because Edwin Nunez brings absolutely nothing to the team. And somehow, why did he get Gatorade splash when he should have hit into a double play last night to,
That was a
to
stretch.
end the game?
That's when things are going well.
Right,
That was a
exactly.
stretch.
Right, that's
Yeah.
it, right?
Well,
You
how
can't do
else
it
is he going to
anymore.
get the bath? How else is he going to get the Gatorade?
Even the sideline reporter, Garrett Austin, she was like, seriously?
yeah, I
No,
wasn't
actually,
expecting
just
this.
Just to be fair,
I'm
he
going
has-
to watch it just for this.
Eduardo has definitely played better since the All-Star break. I think his OPS is close to 800.
He
and
seems
he's
healthier
definitely
anyways.
Played better, but he's not the guy you want. He's not a guy I want in the starting lineup in a playoff game.
No.
Which gets us back to Adrian Beltre, Josh Donaldson. There was an interesting rumor this week. Do the Red Sox take a shot? I mean, because he's not healthy, but you could get Josh Donaldson for
But you
nothing.
can't sneak
Oh,
in.
I would, one of my favorite
nothing.
players.
I mean,
Absolutely.
It's like getting Kirk Gibson or something.
You
isn't it?
can't sneak anyone by on waivers.
Yeah,
If
but
if Oakland doesn't take him, the Yankees will do it just to spoil it.
No, but then you get stuck with
you
your
get
salary.
stuck with a big salary.
Yeah.
He's got a monster. He's got $5 million remaining on his salary for this year, like in September.
Right. I'd take a flyer on him right
That's a guy that's worth doing to me.
For that money?
Why not?
now. Absolutely.
They're not my
over,
money.
They're already over the luxury tax.
Remember, guys, Andujar, Ramirez. There's a lot of good
Yeah.
third basemen that we're
Right.
going to be playing in the playoffs,
Right.
right? We need to match these guys player by player, and we're not doing
Yeah.
that with Nunez, and we're not doing that with Kinsler and against
right.
Altuve,
And
right?
Brock Holt.
Yeah.
Well, they would just fill the holes there for a while.
But I'm saying if this is our year and we need to go for it, then in the next
with
2
you.
days, one Dave Dabrowski needs to step up and add some players. Would you
So
agree?
did they ruin Devers? Or
No,
are
I
they
don't
on the
think
road
so.
to ruining Devers? Or did they
No.
make a mistake in making Devers the starting third
Well, they
baseman
had
this
to
year?
bring him up. They just had to. They needed to back
If you
last
look
year.
at most young third basemen who take those roles at an early age, their errors are very high, and their errors just come down every year. It may take them 3 years to get those errors into a spot where where it's acceptable.
You remember how bad Wade Boggs was? Now he's in the Hall of Fame.
Butch Hobson was horrible. I mean, all those guys. Carney Lansford was a bad defensive player at first in his career.
Yeah, but Pete, it's a great question. And yes, would Devers serve him if he was in Pawtucket right now?
We didn't have that luxury last year.
We don't have it.
Right.
And it's because fat piece of crap Pablo Sandoval kind of ruined it all.
Well, actually,
because
For a
we're
lot of
paying him
people.
It
$20
actually
million a
goes
year.
back to Mr. Dell.
It sure does.
It all
Man.
starts with Mr. Dell,
Jenny
my
Dell.
friend.
Oh my God, I still dream of that, Mr. Jenny Dell, that right-handed hitter, right? That one game he had in Toronto where he hit 3 home runs. And
We
we're like,
always had Toronto.
right? And that's what Jenny Dell fell in love
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
And now she's pregnant, so she's stuck with that.
You know an awful lot about Will Miller.
I'm on his Twitter account. I'm gonna
Jenny's on the road a
stop
lot.
following him when I get home. You're
Wow.
right. It's getting weird. All right, boys. Are we too relaxed?
You mean
with the Red
us?
Sox? No, but, yeah. Well, look, the Red Sox and us are one.
That's
it
true.
seems that Alex Cora has been too smiley and a little loose for a team that last 10 games has played 4 and 6.
They have calmed all our fears with this historic run. Now we'll start to get a little nervous as we get to the end of the season.
Well, I happened to hear him on Cora on the radio on the way over in an interview, and he was very good in that interview. Meaning, he said, "Yeah, we're not pitching well," and he was specific about guys who needed to change how they're pitching. Right? He talked about Kimbrel. He talked about Barnes. That's a good sign. I agree. You got to try to keep these guys loose for a 162 game season, but I also like to hear that kind of honesty out of him.
yeah, you got to name names.
I think it's important for a coach. You know, he's had it going his way all year. We can agree on that.
Absolutely.
So he has to show his players that when things start to slide a little, I'm in control. I'm the same guy as I was when we were doing great. I'm the
That's
same
a great
guy.
point. Pete.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we feel like the bullpen is overused, overtaxed, or exposed?
We might be. It might be overtaxed right now, just for the fact that you don't. Velasquez is supposed to be in there. Johnson's supposed to be in there. There's a lot of guys that are supposed to be in that bullpen that aren't.
Starting.
We're using them as starters now, and so everything is taking a step back.
But we still don't have an order,
Well,
boys. We don't.
yeah, I
And we
mean-
tried to
don't
have
have-
an order last night. Kelly in the 7th, Barnes in the 8th, Kimbrel in 9th, and I would ask you, how did that go?
Well, you and I had an interesting exchange last night about what is it the frequency? Are these guys just being used too frequently? I don't think it's that, and I think your numbers prove it out. But I think there's a bunch of guys who are being asked to do things in high leverage situations that they shouldn't be in.
Right.
Right.
Matt
Realistically, Matt Barnes is not an 8th inning setup man. He's a 7th inning pitcher.
Yeah.
Right. Kelly was an 8th inning pitcher when he was on a roll earlier this year, but really he's like a 7th inning pitcher too.
Yeah.
Right. We got a bunch of guys who are 6th and 7th inning pitchers.
Brazier has
We don't
been
have the
used
8th
too
inning
much
pitchers.
lately.
So that seems to me like we've got guys, because we talked about Devers already, that are thrown into situations that maybe they should. So who's that fall on? Dombrowski, I would think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's got to put the players
He's
in
gotta
the right
get an 8th inning
positions
guy.
to succeed. Yeah, and Heath Hembry, we love him.
6th inning guy.
Sixth
Yeah.
inning guy,
Yeah,
right?
he's a sixth inning
Mop
guy.
up guy,
Yeah.
and he's put in high leverage situations
Yeah.
every night.
Yeah. You're going to put this guy Brashear, who's now he's talking about Brashear as the 8th inning setup guy.
No, that'll be a mistake.
He was
I
too.
think
pitching
they
in
already
Japan
used
last
him
year.
up.
Right.
And Kimbrel maybe in the 8th inning for an out or two. Last night screamed for
Totally.
that. It
Yeah. I totally
absolutely
agree.
screamed
Yeah.
for it, and he didn't do it.
That needed to be a 5 or 6 out save last night.
That was the most poorly managed game by both
Both teams,
managers. Don Mattingly, I don't know. I don't know if he has Tourette syndrome and stuff. There's this stuff happening on with Don Mattingly.
I have to give Dan Shaughnessy credit. There was a tweet I read coming up here. He said that was one of the most demoralizing victories I've ever seen, seen associated with a baseball team. And it was that. You just felt demoralized last night, even after the win.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They would have had a shower anyways because it was so
Yeah,
damn hot, but maybe
yeah.
2 showers because
Yeah, no
you felt
kidding.
dirty. All right, boys, we're going to go to the Patriots, and the season's coming soon. And I will say, I'm hearing lots of rumors that lots of teams want to make trades with Bill Belichick. I wonder why you'd want to do that. Oh, because you always take Bill when you
The
make trades.
Colts took him to the cleaners twice last year.
Every team that
Brissett
made trades with
and
Bill
Allen.
Belichick last year, would you agree, took him to the cleaners?
No, I wouldn't agree with that. In any
Last
case.
year.
Last year, I think that the Dorsett-Brissett trade is inconclusive as of now. If Andrew Luck.
What are you talking about?
Okay, just let me
Okay,
finish
go
my
ahead.
sentence.
Well, for last year, it was
If
definitely
Andrew Luck,
one-sided.
if Andrew Luck plays 16 games this year and Jacoby Brissett doesn't play, and Dorsett catches 50 balls or 45 balls for the Patriots and helps them win 4 games, does that trade look that bad?
Oh,
No, but seriously,
know.
I'm asking you the question: is that an awful trade?
okay. Can we win with Brian Hoyer?
No, but we don't need to win with Brian Hoyer.
Could we maybe?
Hopefully, we'll have Tom Brady the whole
Jacoby
year.
Brissett is a backup quarterback.
Yeah, he kind of proved that out.
He was a rookie quarterback on
He's
top
a
of that.
backup quarterback
at best.
at best.
Oh, no. You got to
The
give him time.
level
For
of
3 or 4
importance of a
years, he might be a
quarterback to
starter.
a
Look,
wide
last
receiver.
year, but your bigger point, like that Marsh trade was horrendous last year.
Right.
The Dwayne Allen trade
It was horrendous.
looks pretty bad, right?
How about the guy that they cut?
the
right
guy that
off
cut
the-
that went to the Jets, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But then you take a look at the trades that we don't know yet, but the Trent Brown trade, we moved down 45 spots in the draft for a
I
starting
think that
left
was
tackle.
part of the Garoppolo trade.
Whatever. So great. But that was a trade. Cordarrelle Patterson for a 6th-round draft choice. That could be a nice trade. We don't know. Like,
Brandon Cooks wasn't a good trade.
no, actually,
both
Brandon.
ends.
No. Hang on. Brandon Cooks.
We
They
don't know
traded a
that.
first round. No, hear me out. They traded a first-round pick for Brandon Cooks. They got the use of Brandon Cooks for a year. They traded him for a first-round pick and a 6th-round pick. That was the Brandon Cooks history with the Patriots.
Okay, if you're going to give up a first-round pick, you have to make a commitment to Brandon Cooks.
No, you don't.
And don't
not
you,
if you can trade him for a first-round pick. They traded him for exactly what they traded him for.
Would you
More.
not be happy with
And
Brandon
more.
Cooks on the team? He'd be the number 1 receiver right now on the Patriots. This moment, would you agree?
No, but are you saying that the Brandon Cooks trade, the original trade, or the second trade?
I'm going to say both trades are bad because if you're going to trade a first-round pick and if you're going to make a commitment like that, if you're going to make him learn the system, then he's most likely going to reap rewards more.
Do you
in
know
your
what?
second
And I'm not
season.
happy
Do you know what
with-
these
right?
wide receivers are making? Some crappy receiver today got $12 million a year.
Yeah,
I don't
they
even
couldn't
know his
afford
name.
him. But you know what I really don't like is what they used that number 1 pick for.
No, that's another argument.
Yeah, I know
But
it
I'm
is.
just saying that for every bad trade, my bigger point is for every bad trade that Belichick has made, he's made a good trade. And that's just like every GM in the NFL.
Look, the guy gets there. He gets there.
Oh, I know. But Bill Belichick makes more trades
Even
than
though he's
anybody
driving a
combined
jalopy,
in the NFL.
yeah, but even though he's driving a jalopy, he gets to the end of the line.
I know, but
all
that's
the
not
time.
the answer to the question. The question is, did Bill
In
Belichick,
my-
Bill
in-
Belichick
in-
make
in
bad
my
trades
answer is-
last season?
Yes, he
Let's
did.
Stop.
Okay, but what about this season? We don't. And what about other
remains to be
seasons?
seen.
Why are
Yeah,
we so
we gotta see it
fixated on
play
last
out.
season?
Well, and what your point at the beginning was,
We thought all
everyone's
those trades were
lining
good
up to
trades
trade
at this
with Bill
point last year.
because they feel like they can take him.
Right. He may.
But it
right,
may also
exactly.
be because he has a surplus of things. Like I think they think that everyone needs help on the offensive line, and the Patriots may be a little deep there.
You take a look
Interior.
back at that Jamie Collins trade, and none of us liked it. And in net, it was probably not a great trade. How many times have you heard Jamie Collins' name over the last year and a half playing football?
Well, he plays Cleveland Browns, so nobody
he
hears
doesn't
any of the
play
plays.
particularly
if
well.
you watch Hard Knocks, you get
Well, how
to
about
see it,
Chandler?
that's
You
it.
don't even see him on Hard
How about
Knocks.
Chandler Jones?
Hey, he's played great. That's a bad trade, but I
Logan
don't know about
Ryan
that.
played
Logan-
very well last year. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, he wasn't a
He wasn't
trade.
traded, but
It's a
they let
free
him
agent
go.
signing, but
right?
because
Yeah.
they have to.
No,
They can't sign everybody.
It's definitely a curious thing, some of the guys that he does let go because they're in need positions. But
Most of the guys
by
he
and
trades,
large,
you never hear from them. again.
Richard Seymour.
a lot of
That-
times
no,
in
I
the-
agree. That used to be the line, and that was accurate. Okay, but that's no longer
Other than
accurate.
Chandler
We have a
Jones.
long list now.
No. We have a list of one. Chandler Jones.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
So
Then
maybe
give
it
me
wasn't
5
Bill.
What,
other
what
Maybe
guys.
it's
happens is a
Cesario
lot of
or
guys
whatever.
get, like Martellus Bennett said, winning
Cesario,
championships makes
Was
you a
the guy
lot
who
of
was in
money.
Player development, yeah.
Everyone wants your players when you're on the
Right.
top. You can't sign them all, so everyone's signing them all for big money. You can't match that.
Okay, so this basically comes down to you guys are just going to give Bill Belichick a free pass no matter what.
No, I think it's horrible.
No, I agree
I
that
think
they
it's
were bad
I
trades.
think it's some of them were bad trades,
Yeah.
but he's also made good trades. I think the linebacking core is ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous that he didn't address that in the offseason.
He allowed that,
right?
though.
I think it's ridiculous they don't have more depth in wide receiver. I think they should have more offensive linemen because those guys drop like flies. So I'm not banging on him for stuff that I don't think he should be banged on, but I'm certainly willing to criticize him for the gaps in this team.
Here's the thing I don't understand. Here we're talking about arguably the greatest quarterback that's ever, the greatest coach that's ever coached a game in the NFL. Yet, why doesn't he understand the same things that we're talking about? You know what I mean?
Because he wins every year.
Yeah. So
That's why.
he clearly knows something that we don't.
But why does I would argue, why does he have both positions? Why is he the GM of this team?
And
It's
the
a great-
defense
it's
isn't
a
he the
great
defensive
Well, he
question.
coordinator?
delegates a lot of
And he
responsibility
probably
to
should-
MC.
By the way, he probably shouldn't have both positions. There are very few NFL coaches who have been able to make it work, and he's getting older, and he probably does delegate. But the man can't pick wide receivers, and
Never
he hasn't
could.
delegated that, right? Like, so
And-
there's certain things that have been a blind spot, and you would imagine as he gets older that he should be pulling back on his responsibilities as opposed to going in harder. I agree.
Well, if Jordan Richards and Landon Roberts make this team, I'm telling you, that's your sign to show
I bet you
this
at least
team
one
sucks,
does.
right? I mean, that's really pathetic. We're talking about two guys who should not be in the NFL.
Jordan Richards will make the team whether we like it or not.
But you could say that you cut those two guys and they'll never get a sniff of the NFL again.
They won't
I bet
play
you
with
Landon Roberts would get a job, but Jordan Richards
I'll
wouldn't.
tell you what is tough too when you're watching the sidelines and the kid, he's the defensive backs coach, and he's trying. And they're just tuning him right out, right on TV. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm telling you, the whole team is tuning them out. That was the whole off season,
We'll
right?
see.
That was a narrative. Okay, boys, we're talking trades, and here we go. Would you now? I just want you to come here.
Is this a new segment?
Turn this on. Yes, turn the sound down loud. Would you right now, August 29th, 2018, trade Tom Brady for Jimmy G?
What are you trying to
No.
accomplish?
What I am trying to accomplish not
No, tell
only
me-
Trying to make your team better.
right. I'm trying to make my
What-
team better now and in the future.
Okay, but let's define now. Are you trying to, is the goal of this trade to win a Super Bowl in the 2018-2019 season, or is it more of a sustained success over a longer period of time?
Be like the Bruins and
Because
make the
there's,
playoffs 30
to me,
years
there are
from
two
now.
different answers.
I'm sorry. To me, I don't think I've seen enough Jimmy G. I really don't.
Yeah,
But
me
you've seen
either.
enough of
Me
Brock
either.
Holt.
Yes, he's,
I don't want to know how much of Brock Holt he's
Yeah,
seen.
right, okay.
We've seen a lot of Brock Holt.
he's a gamer though.
All-star.
Okay, all right. This is what I
All-star.
would say. Not throwing out the white flag if you acquired Jimmy G for Tom Brady. Not the white flag for 2018. However, I don't believe that this team, as it is constructed, can win a Super Bowl with Tom Brady in 2018. So, yes, Jimmy G for the future when Tom Brady still has some value.
Well, all right, okay. If the question is who has a better shot at winning a Super Bowl this year, I think you agree. Who has a better shot with this team as currently constructed? Tom Brady. But it gets much harder in year two. And and then it becomes actually kind of easier because by year three, I think you're going to want Jimmy G.
But also year two, that's a great point.
Well,
Right.
in year three, all those other AFC quarterbacks are really
Going to be
good.
better,
Yeah.
and you're going to want a young, vibrant quarterback for year 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's questionable in year two. In my mind, I think it's clear that this year Brady, given what he has to deal with, is a better shot at getting you to a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl victory this year than Jimmy G would.
All right, Joe. Right now, would you trade Tom Brady for Jimmy G?
No, I couldn't. And you know I'm a Jimmy G guy, but I just couldn't do it. You can't give up the now. For
I'm
3 or
greedy.
4
I want
years
one
from
more
now.
Super Bowl. I want one more Super Bowl to wash the taste of last year's Super Bowl.
Well, you'll
loss
get
out
it
of my
in
mouth.
2020. You'll get
Okay.
it in 2021, 2022.
I'm with
Jimmy
Pete.
G.
I'm not sold
How's
on
that?
Jimmy G.
What's that?
Because he's trading.
He
He's
said, I've
trading
traded Tom
Garoppolo
Brady
for Jimmy G.
Remember, also, I'm trading Tom Brady right now while he still has
2020?
value. He won't have any value
No,
next
look,
year.
that's a reason.
He will
to
always
do
have
it.
value because he can sell tickets, and that's the important.
It's a reason.
Hey, wait a minute. He wins games
Well, I know it.
by himself.
Well, he won't be doing that this
No,
year
it's
with
a
that
look.
wide
It's a
receiver
great
core.
question. It's a legitimately great question to debate because it sort of makes you say, all right, what's most important to you?
Yeah, well-
I admit to the greed.
Right.
I'm greedy.
Well, the answer is Jimmy G. All right, boys. Just so you know, Brian Hoyer, and I've watched these 3 exhibition games. If Tom Brady gets hurt, Brian Hoyer may be the worst backup quarterback in
You'll
the
be
NFL.
begging for Jacoby.
Oh my
Brissett.
God! I was so bummed today when I read that the Jets traded Teddy Bridgewater to the Saints because I've been banging on
Oh, I
that
didn't
Teddy
hear that.
Bridgewater.
Yeah.
I've been banging on that Teddy Bridgewater drum. They could have had him for
Early
nothing.
on, Russ
for
wanted-
nothing in the offseason. They could have brought Teddy Bridgewater
been
in
a
not
good fit,
only
too.
not only to be your backup quarterback this year, but to give him a bite at the apple to be your next quarterback of this team for 5
So
years.
he's giving Drew Brees a little nudge now. Is that it?
Well, they've only got him for a year. He's going to be a free agent at the end of next year.
Drew Brees
so
will be
he's an
setting all the
insurance
records.
policy at best.
1 year, but they have a head start of re-signing him.
And that quiets guys like me big time if you get Bridgewater, right?
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, that's fine.
There's quality backup.
Oh my God, quality! I mean, he's a starting level
And
backup.
but he won't be
Young
doing
guy.
anything down there because Brees will be setting every
Yeah.
passing record
Look,
there is
I'm
in the
sh-
books this year.
I don't know if Teddy's happy about this or unhappy about this, but for Teddy, he gets a whole other year to work with Drew Brees to get even healthier, and he's clearly the heir apparent now.
Oh, I'm going to say this, a little conspiracy theory.
Who has more years left, Tom Brady or Drew Brees?
It's
Both the
probably
same.
very similar.
Yeah, probably. All right, maybe because the Saints are Bill's buddy. Maybe, and you know the Jets wouldn't
That
have
would
made
be
that
amazing.
deal, right?
It's
Maybe
like a side. It's a bank shot trade.
Yeah, right.
Teddy comes back to New England.
It's a three-way deal, but we didn't tell the Jets
Yeah.
about it.
Sean, that's a great.
Yeah,
That's a
right.
great point because
So-
the Jets would never have traded him to us.
Right,
Oh,
absolutely.
and Bill
I like
never
it.
would
I
have
like the
worked
conspiracy.
with the Jets.
You like that? Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
it's good.
he likes it. All right, boys. You know, it was about this time last year, and we were just living our lives.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, the Kyrie Irving trade
I
comes
know.
and just changes our lives forever. You think Danny's brewing something? Is there something brewing that?
It's way too quiet over there.
Yeah,
I think
right?
it's way quiet because they like their team.
Why shouldn't it be quiet?
Yeah, they like their team.
It was quiet last year. No, I know it was quiet last year, and all of a sudden he made.
It all
a deal.
depends. Are all the season's tickets sold? If they are, it'll stay
look,
quiet.
If Kawhi hadn't been traded, I'd be with you. I would say they got a shot at coming in late for Kawhi Leonard, but I just don't see who's out there. The Pelicans are not trading Anthony Davis right now. They could trade him in February. They could trade him at the end of next year, but they're not trading him this. this soon.
I think Danny's pretty happy with
Yeah.
what he's got on the floor right today.
All right, so Danny's not taking seriously the whole Kyrie to the Knicks rumor, right? So he
No, why would he? I mean, they can pay him more than the Knicks can. He can get a shot at it.
Yeah.
Now, if things go south this year for Kyrie, right? He gets hurt again. The team underperforms. Absolutely. Could I see him going to New York? Absolutely.
there could be some problems because Kyrie likes to take X amount of shots a game, and he's not going to have those X amount of shots. He's not going to get
that's
those
not how he
touches.
played last year, though. He didn't go get his shots
In the
last
fourth
year.
quarter, he did.
Of course,
Yeah.
because that's when you need him
because
to. I
everyone
want him
looked,
to do that.
Everyone looked to him to do
right.
that.
This year, you got Jason Tatum and you got Gordon Hayward. Last year, who was going to take those fourth quarter shots?
Well, you know, in our day, the big deal was the media guide. Remember?
Yeah.
The media guide had all the stats, and then, you know, and the big deal also was who was on the cover of the media guide. That was kind of showing you
Yeah.
who the future and the present was of the franchise. I ask you, boys, who's on the cover of the Boston Celtics 2018-2019 media guide?
I would put Kyrie with the two young guys, Brown and Tatum.
Right, so you cover. You
I'm covering all the
yeah, right.
bases.
Oh, no,
I think
that's
it's
too
Tatum
wishy-washy.
alone.
What's that?
Tatum alone.
Kyrie
Oh,
wouldn't like
wouldn't
that.
that-
You know what you?
I'm
Yeah.
with Pete.
I got
I'm with
another
Pete.
one for you. Just put Brad Stevens' face right on the cover of that.
Oh,
of
yeah,
that
that's a
media
good
guide.
one.
That works.
Just
That
don't
works.
mess around.
I was thinking Jaylen Brown and Tatum. Because
Yeah.
you can't put Tatum without putting Jaylen Brown on,
Right.
or all of a sudden there's going to be problems,
It's
right?
Kyrie's team.
Is it out?
No, it's not out yet.
Kyrie's team.
Oh, it's like
You want Kyrie to think, hey, this is the team I wanted. I
Well,
helped
then,
build this
okay.
I think you're right.
Have
I think
Kyrie
it has to be.
stand with the two guys kneeling and his arms on each shoulder. You know, like
imparting blessing.
yeah,
blessings
he's
to
the
them.
he's the Daddy Kyrie. You know.
All right, look, exhibition starts September 28th, less than a month. What in training camp are you looking forward to most in seeing?
Such a great question.
Well, I'd love to see Tatum. Everyone says he's jacked out of his mind now. He's been lifting the whole
Yeah,
offseason.
the Fred Lynn knotless
yeah.
machine.
They said the same thing about Devers too.
Yeah.
Right,
He still looks a little dumpy.
I mean, I don't know
Exactly.
how the answer in this could be anything but just to see how Gordon Hayward looks, right, after this
Yeah,
year.
you're right.
And is he moving laterally? Is he hitting shots? Does he look like he looked like last year? Because if he does, and if Kyrie's knee is all right, look out. Like,
They're
this team
dangerous.
is going to be vicious.
Yeah, and Brad Stevens is already working on the allocation of minutes, right? These guys aren't going to be playing heavy minutes. I can promise you that.
No, sometime in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a very interesting conversation about who's the starting five and who's the finishing five for this team.
Oh, my
Who
Because
accepts what?
somebody
Yeah,
has to
right.
sit. Right. So it's
Yeah,
gonna be
Brown's
very
going to have a
interesting.
tough job. Exactly. Great point, Pete. There's a lot of egos in that team.
Especially now.
Absolutely.
This is a very nice problem to have.
It sure is.
Maybe rightfully so, too.
Absolutely, yeah, right. All right, boys, that's our show for tonight. I want to thank the boys, of course. I want to thank everyone behind the scenes. Of course, the lovely and talented Adrian and handsome Todd. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. I'm Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. The elephants are in town.
Here comes the circus.